A man tries to attack a mom and break into her home while she and her daughter are inside. It happened on Joseph E. Lowry Boulevard near Donald Lee Hollowell in northwest Atlanta.
The ordeal caught on home surveillance video. Fox 5's Christopher King spoke exclusively with that mom. Christopher joins us live at APD headquarters.
Courtney, Tom, a guy tried to drink some water from a faucet on the side of a home. The woman who lived there asked him not to. Then he turned violent.
What are you doing? Huh?
Take a look at this video. Tarzine Jackson says this stranger tried to break into her home and attack her and her daughter. It all began last Saturday as she worked at her desk.
I heard some commotion on the side of the house.
Jackson says she looked outside and saw this man drinking water from the spigot on the side of her home. She told him to stop. She even offered him something to drink.
I'll give you a water bottle.
But the guy grew angry.
He starts cussing me out and coming up to the front of the porch. And I'm just like, what are you doing?
He attempts to go inside.
He tried to break down the front door.
Then he grabs the post of this tower her cats used to scratch from her front porch. He smashes Jackson's front window.
He threw that through the window, got glass everywhere.
Shards of glass grazed her 16-year-old daughter. That made Jackson furious.
I went into Mama Bear mode and I went after him.
You want to come up in here?
Jackson rushed outside with a taser wand.
He tried to grab it, but it's a wand taser and he got shocked on his hand.
But the would-be intruder didn't give up. He hurled debris at Jackson.
He threw a water bottle at me. It hit me. He started throwing pieces of the fence from next door.
Jackson says several neighbors eventually chased him off. Police arrested Anthony Dixon a short time later.
It was a lot of adrenaline going, and I was like, you know, you effed around, now you're about to find out.
Dixon is charged with damaging property and obstructing officers. Live at APD headquarters, Christopher King, Fox 5 News.
Christopher, thanks.
All right, let's start off by giving all honor, praise, and glory unto the Heavenly Father, Yahweh Bashibi Al-Shai, Ba'ashim Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone that rule well, and shalom and blessings to the hopeful elect. Here we have a key demonstration of how when resources are less available to the people and times are desperate, that they resort into taking matters into their own hands and just taking whatever the fuck they need. All right, you had this nigga drinking from the bitch's side water fountain, probably where the hose is linked up, spigot. And, you know, the bitch has some words with the nigga, and then he attempts to push up into her crib, all right? Break-in attempt. And really, the only thing that deterred that nigga was her attempts and threats to call law enforcement, all right? Which we're coming into a time where that entity is going to be null and fucking void. All right, which is going to increase the lawlessness in this society, okay? And as we further, this place goes into a further condition of desperation, we're going to see this shit ramp up, okay? Into the point where the people start to kill each other in mass numbers. And this is accordance to prophecy and simply accordance to the track record of mankind in history, right? During a famine or lack of bread, or in a time of lack and want, all right? What do they call that? Different drought, okay? Different things where resources are extremely limited. The people go at each other's throats. There's a quote from, it was actually a theological source that said that there's a study that that pretty much determines, not going into the inner workings of it, but just the conclusion of that study is that the most dangerous thing on the planet, right? Of course, outside of the power of the Most High, we're talking about of creation, of all creation. The most dangerous thing on the planet is a hungry man. Okay, and it's just second nature that when there's extremely limited resources, that the people are going to resort to killing each other. Okay, because the other people aren't going to give it up. They're going to have to pry it from their cold, dead hands. All right, and this is a time we're going warp speed into. All right, faster than these cities and these different law enforcement agencies can keep up with. All right. But it's ultimately the plan of the Heavenly Father to shut down shop in this place. Okay. To bring a close to this wicked, sinful fucking empire. This global hegemony of Esau, Edom. All right. This is in Matthew 24:12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. All right. And people have absolutely no regard for each other in this time. And we see it getting worse to the point where people are constantly premeditating on how to set the next man up for their demise. Okay. And to extract what they need from him. Okay. And it's heavy because the Most High was the one that unleashed this spirit out into the world. All right, a cold spirit of just hatred and envy, okay, and pride on the people, which it talks about. Pride is hateful among them from of the Most High and men. That pride is going to cause the people to go at each other's throats, as it tells us in 2nd Esdras 8:50. Okay, it's what you can attribute the miseries, the great miseries that are gonna come upon this fucking place, man. It's just a complete, overall, complete and utter disregard for fellow man. Okay, and it's gonna be worse upon the weakest vessel. Okay, it's gonna be the worst upon them. Because what's gonna stop a grimy, bloodthirsty Skeletor type nigga from pushing up into your homes? Okay, you're gonna need a covert, okay, a covering from the tempest. All right, you're gonna need a covering from on high. All right, which is the source of any salvation, okay, or deliverance from destruction, coming from on high, from Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, okay, and the intermediary, the go between for that is a man for a woman, okay. But that's only going to be the case for a very few, minute, select amount of women in that day. Most is going to be the case, are going to be in this boat right here, okay. Isaiah 32:10, it says, many days and years shall ye be troubled, ye careless women, for the vintage shall fail, the gathering shall not come, okay. And we know this to be in reference to the Great Babylon, America, that fucking whore that this place has been. It's always been rescued and other motherfuckers being sent to the aid of this place, as well as it having no bars or gates, being as a fucking virgin daughter. Okay? But just as that is also going into the women of this modern day Western society. Okay? Primarily here in the Great Babylon, but this has been the case as this place has been a beacon and a template for the rest of the world that these other countries have formed their nations after. Okay, this is that careless, prideful spirit that's on all these fucking women across the planet, man. Okay, and it's good. This is going to be the case for the majority of them, the mass majority. Okay, there's going to be an extremely oppressive time of destruction. Okay, extremely troublesome times, evil, bad times upon them, man. Okay, because it's worse upon the weaker vessel. And not to mention that these cities are going to be weeded out of men. The men are going to be as women. So it's just a complete recipe for fucking disaster, for ultimate societal collapse. Okay, and that vintage is uh, also goes into um, multiple breakdowns, of course, but one of those being the vintage is like um, when a motherfucker goes to a vintage shop and gets items that are like fucking antiques and shit like that. A vintage item is something that's like from the past or old, right? And the vintage for women is that they always have a Captain Saberho come to its rescue, all right? And especially here in America, nobody can lay a fucking finger upon a woman. She's a protected class citizen and all this. But that shit's gonna go out the window. That whole thing, that whole fucking chivalry thing that's kind of intact. And it's only because law enforcement is still in place. Okay? But you can see when that goes out, when that is taken off the table, you can see how completely perilous that the times are going to become. All right. This is in Second Edra 16, and we're going to go straight to the point. Slovakia. It says, in the 22nd verse, for many of them that dwell upon earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. Okay. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them, for the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. Jumping down to, this is actually the point in 31. It says, even so in those days there shall be 3 or 4 left by them that search their houses with the sword. Okay? You're going to have a time when society collapses and law enforcement goes out the fucking window, where a man is going to be left to his own devices, so to speak. All right? What is in his ability to do, whatever the fuck he wants, he's going to perform that. All right? what's in the power of his actions. Okay, he's gonna have the power to perform the actions, the fucking what he devises in his fucking mind. And of course, we know that comes from the Most High. But what spirit is that going to be? Okay, a vicious, get it how you live, survival, spirit of death and killing. Okay, and vengeance. It speaks about in Sirach, the 39th chapter. Many spirits of vengeance are coming upon this place. So it's an ultimate recipe for disaster. See, you have the lewdness that is at an all-time high, that has ushered in the famine that's going to bring about this fucking collapse. Okay? Manufactured or not, because we know that this famine, it's called, what we know as an agenda from the elites. This whole shit is a controlled demolition, and in that is a manufactured famine. Okay? Choking out the resources. And also, it's too from limited resources, from lewdness, right? We do have to understand that even though the elites are doing these things, not only does it come from the most mind of the Most High, but also there is lack. Okay, this man's taxing the shit out of the fucking earth, so it's not yielding as it once was, and to its proper capacity. All right, a complete overall mismanagement of this place, and us coming to the end. Okay, warp fucking speed. Okay, and then of course the pride that is goes before destruction, which this place is on. Pride is on steroids in this fucking place, juiced out. Okay, which is going to cause the many great miseries to befall this place. Okay, this is in 2 Edges 15 and 16. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Okay? So there's going to be seditions among men. Okay? Which is uprisings, right? Which is precept you can find. It's a precept located in the ninth chapter of 2nd Esdras, also known as the third book of Ezra. Okay? And that is one of the indicators of where we are on the biblical, the prophetic timeline. You see, where we are in conjunction to prophecy. Okay, and the end. Okay, the parting asunder of times, which we know is the end of one age and the beginning of really the beginning of eternity, the beginning of life as we will all only ever know it. Okay, going forward and forevermore. Okay, but with that, one of the main indicators of the end is the uproars of the people. Okay, and in that sedition, with that is going to be complete fucking chaos. Okay, going overthrow of governments. All right, law enforcement being deactivated in all these fucking cities. See, and we've already seen dosages of that across America. Okay, after the so-called fucking pandemic and the George Floyd shit. All right, you had niggas and really people of all races. Okay, because or will I do an expose on it? You had a group of Edomites, young little 18 to 25-year-old Edomites, a little mafia of them that were going around completely fucking terrorizing different cities and towns in America, um, and disguising themselves as niggas, as BLM, protesters, and all this other shit. And they were little fucking well-to-do Edomites that came from money and shit. Okay, so it was all races that was taking part in that shit. And to an extent, that's why this thing is going to be um, certain aspects of this collapse that's going to happen throughout these societies is going to be irregardless of color line. All right, of course we're going to have the race wars, but it's also going just into a fucking all-out mayhem, battle royale, fucking what do they call that? Every man for himself type shit. Okay, so um, we see this thing starting to boil up. This is going back into the second stanza. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. Goes into the laws, okay? Because the kings and your prince in the days of old were the ones that uh, was where the laws came down from, okay? And this time it's your government officials, and then going down into um, your law enforcement agencies, okay? The people are just not even going to regard what the fuck laws that used to be established and placed and then enforced. Okay, in the course of their whatever course that they plot to take, they're going to be able to do it. Okay, but in destruction and in violence, which is how this fucking great city Babylon is going to be taken down. Okay, not to mention the whirlwind of destruction. We're talking about a plethora, a myriad, a menagerie of different destructive events that are gonna fucking smack this place, Babylon, man. All right. So with that, all praises, honor, glory to the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashim Rakah Kadash.